Hey guys, let's discuss the evolution of the key because are you like me? Are you sick and tired of having one simple device allowing you to get into your car, start your car, open the doors, open the trunk? Do you miss the days of having multiple keys that would allow you to do the same damn thing? Well, we're going to talk about that. That's right, we're going all the way back basically to the earliest days of the car when it had a key, or in this case, many keys. Remember our Volkswagen? We still have it. And you know how I can tell? Because this key ring is pretty much covered with all the keys you need in order to work that vehicle. There's an ignition key, there's a door key, there's a key for the glove box, and there's a key that I think is for the front trunk or boot. Think about that. All those keys in order to accomplish the goals of one device. Well, things changed from the 60s, and you can go all the way back actually to the 40s. Chrysler actually was one of the first car companies to have a key that would go into an ignition and actually start the car. Before that, you had to actually hit a button. Then later on, Ford had a two-way key, so you could actually put the key in either direction. That was in the 60s. That was still for the ignition. It took a long time before people started figuring out maybe less keys is better. Even with our Project Jeep, there's still a couple keys necessary in order to make the whole damn thing function. Ignition key, door key, that's for the gas. Now we're going old school because, yep, lockable gas cap. Round key, almost always for the door. And of course, square key for the ignition. Eventually, we came up with one key. Isn't that awesome? And I remember in the 80s, the first time my mother brought home a car that actually just had one key. It was in the late 80s. And I thought, this is the future. Well, it got more interesting after that because they actually started putting transponders in some of the keys in order to tell the car, oh, this is the right key. You're not being stolen. This is the right key. Everything is okay. The only problem with those keys, of course, was copying them in case you lost one. Ugh. Then we move up a little bit. Now remember our Land Rover, our rescue Land Rover? Well, one key. And the cool part is it actually has in it the buttons necessary in order to open the door and lock the door too. But because it's a Land Rover, we still felt it was necessary to have some extra keys just in case. Now the thing is that once we got to this point, you were able to walk up to your car, unlock the door using your key without having to shove it into the door and go in there and fire up the vehicle. Progress. Locking, unlocking. And here we go. Like a kitten. But we're clever humans. We needed something that worked like a switchblade because this is far too inconvenient. This is a Mazda key, and once again, it'll allow you to unlock the door, but it won't let you start the car unless you shove that in. But things changed. And eventually, you know our Toyota, big project vehicle we have? That's right, you don't need a key for it. You walk in with this and you can actually hit a button and drive away. This is huge because as long as you had the key fob on you and as long as it had power, it would recognize that and say, oh, okay, that's a good thing. Unfortunately, this wasn't a very functional key fob. As you can see, it basically just had lock and unlock on it. No key necessary. Unlocked. And that big button right there, well, that's the future. Oh, but then we go and it's the future again because now, trunk. That's right. Still the same idea, but now you could pop the trunk using your key fob. Then key fobs got smaller. Nissan and Mazda started building these tiny ones, which are great, especially when they're lost because they're really hard to find. Now, one thing a lot of you guys may not know is that a lot of these key fobs are supposed to have the key in here. And the reason why is, well, if the car is out of power, it's not going to open the door. And because of that, you're able to eject the key and put it in and turn to get in. Here's an important note. Around the 1980s, the late 1980s, automakers started getting rid of keys in doors. Most vehicles nowadays either have a hidden and or small port just on the driver's door in order to get into the car manually. Things have changed again, and now we're getting into bigger and more complex key fobs. Look at this. This is the one for the Ram. You can actually use it as a weapon, but it has something very important on there that has started, about 10 years ago, and that is this little circle right there. You hit that twice and it starts the vehicle for you. Same thing, it's in your pocket, get up to the door. Now, the door will automatically unlock as you approach the vehicle, and that's something that's come along in the past 5 years, and it's very common now. Now it's the real future. Come here. See, that says hi. Open my door. It recognizes me and it unlocks the door. It's just that simple. And once again, one button starts the vehicle. Now here's the cool part. Actually, I'm going to show you with the door closed. Locked. See a little button there? You can lock them. And then, if you're inside and it's a cold day, hit this twice. Takes a second. Pretty cool, right? Now, bear in mind that if it's running like that, when you're using this, you have to actually go into the vehicle, sit inside, put your foot on the brake, and push the start button in order for it to see this before it lets you go into drive. But now, I don't know why. Some car companies thought, you know what? Having something this simple, that's too easy. Let's make things a little bit more complex. So rather than have the buttons anywhere where it's easy to use, companies like Mazda and others, Volvo, decided to put them on the side and make them really, really small. I don't know if that's a fashion thing or if it's just because they really don't like customers. Strange. But things have changed yet again, because now you have car companies like Tesla and other high-end car companies that are allowing you to either have something as simple as this very thin credit card. It's no thicker than a regular credit card. See that? Yep. And you can walk up to your car and pop open the door and get in and fire it up and drive away. You can also, via Tesla, and we know this because we have one, as broken as it is, use your cell phone and have that to get into your vehicle. A lot of things have changed over the years, but there is one thing to note. If you are the type of person to live in an area where your car may be shorted out because of an electromagnetic pulse or something like that, then going back to the old school system of several keys might be the way to go. Another thing to think about, and bear in mind that there have been several keys over the years, laser cut ones, special ones that actually have micro transmitters in them, you name them, and you want to replace the keys on it. You may actually have to go to a dealership in order to do that, because in many cases these key fobs, especially the ones that are attached to keys, actually have something in here that has to be replaced and reprogrammed in order to do it. It's a pain in the neck, I know. But hey, get yourself a Tesla and you don't have to worry about it, right? Just carry around a credit card. Of course, when that's out of power, then you're out of luck. Thank you for joining me for the Fast Lane Car. This is Nathan. I hope you enjoyed this. Please write your comments down below. I want to hear some stories from you guys, especially about multiple keys. See you next time.